Today is Tuesday, Parashat Nasso. Parasha we're going to be reading next Shabbat is actually the longest parasha of all 54 parashiot. It has in it 176 pesukim, 176 verses, the longest because it includes a portion that is actually very repetitious in a way. It speaks about the inauguration of the Mishkan, and starting with the first day of Nisan, when each one of the heads of each tribe brought a certain number of offerings for the inauguration of the Mishkan, beginning with Yehuda, then Issachar, then Zebulun. They brought the offerings in the order not of their birth, but rather the order that they traveled in the desert. Because Yehuda was always the first one to travel, behind him was Issachar, then Zebulun, then afterwards Reuven, etc. So the order of traveling in the desert is the order that they brought the offerings. And because when they camped around the Mishkan, but when they traveled, it was the first group that was on the east traveled first, then the second group on the south would be next, then there'll be the Mishkan, then the group on the west would travel next, and then the group on the north would travel next. So that would be the way that they traveled in the desert, and that's the way of the order of each head of each tribe brought offerings, exactly the same offering from one to the other. And you could ask the question, if they brought exactly the same series of offerings, the Torah could have saved space by saying, this is what they brought, and it was, one silver bowl, and there was also a silver basin that weighs 70 shkalim, and there was a gold ladle, and there was a bull and a ram and a sheep, a whole list of offerings that they brought, gifts that they brought for the inauguration of Mishkan. Since it was all the same for all 12 tribes, the Torah could have told us this is what they brought, each one of the heads of the tribes. But it gives equal importance to each tribe, listing the name of the head of the tribe and exactly what they brought, to tell us how each person was important, and it was exactly the same, so no one would bring something more than the other or less. It was equal. And also, one thing to remember is, even though it was the same exact offerings, each of them brought with some difference in terms of kavanah, the intention in mind, what the meaning and the symbolism that was attached to everything that they brought had a different kind of perspective based on which tribe brought that offering, but it was exactly the same materially. But each one had certain kavanot and certain ideas in mind based on which tribe it was that had a different symbolism attached to it. But there is an interesting point. While we really highlight the individuality of each tribe, the Torah also tells us that when they brought wagons, they brought only 6 wagons. They could have brought 12. These people were very wealthy. They could have brought each a wagon, and it would be 12 wagons. But they brought only 6 wagons to teach also a lesson. Within that individuality that each tribe had, there was also a unity amongst them. And that unity is symbolized by 6 wagons. Each 2 tribes brought a wagon together. So even though, yes, each of us has his own individual kavanot, each of us has his own perspective, we still have to remember the idea of togetherness and of being united. And the wagons that were brought, the 6 wagons, had to be brought, each wagon by 2 tribes, showing that we still need one another to do things together, while each of us has individuality. And that's something that we see actually a lot in the Torah, in the sense that as you learn Gemara, as you learn Mishnah, you see that there are different opinions, there are different approaches. There's Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel, but the Torah is learning Batei Midrash with Chevrutot. Chevrutot is a pair of students learning together, because this is how Torah is absorbed, this is how Torah is learned, this is how you delve into the Torah, by having you together with a Chevruta, with another person that you pair together and unite together to learn Torah together. And in this case of the inauguration of Mishkan, it was the wagons that symbolized that unity and that coming together for the same purpose. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.